Good morning, YouTube. We are on, as Bass Geek would say, we're on a super secret lake here in South Mississippi. This is a public lake, but it's kind of in the middle of nothing. It's a small lake. It's only about 13 acres, I was told. Doesn't look like 13 acres to me. It looks more like 5 or 6 acres. Anyway, we're here. Got my buddy Mark's here with me. We're kayaking this morning. Lake's very shallow. So far, 8 feet is the deepest point I've seen. We've already seen a gator this morning, so obviously it's got gators in it. But we're going to give it a try nonetheless. Dead calm this morning. Lake's full of lily pads. Trying a spro popping frog this morning. Bronze eye pop. Hard to cast from a kayak. Don't know anything about this lake, so just picked a spot and tried it. I don't think there's any fish in this lake, Mark.
I think I got a hit by a crappie, and that's like only one.
Well, it's my Billwater experience most of the time. Ah, shoot, I left my scale in the truck.
So far, we ain't needing it.
Right? That's honest truth. What you fishing?
Frog and a plastic worm.
Now, a fella would figure that in a shallow lake like this, on a bright, clear morning, no wind, that you could just about throw anything out there on top water, catch fish. But that has not been the case.
I ain't seen water ripples, you know what I mean?
I saw one fish hit behind you about 5 minutes ago. So there was some sign of life. 7.5 feet. Actually, it's less than that because I ain't got my depth offset. I think my depth offset is like 18 inches. Okay. Fix my depth offset, 6.6 feet. So very, very shallow. Oh, there's a fish. He ain't much to him, but I got him. Well, he might be a little bit better than I thought he was. Either that or I got a gator, one or two.
He's just swimming towards you.
No, that's a decent fish. Oh, and he threw it.
He knows exactly how to do it.
Dang. That was probably about a 3-pound fish.
That was a smart fish.
Well, Mark, there's fish in this lake. What the heck? I bet I didn't even get that on camera because my kayak moved. That's trouble fishing in a kayak.
Yeah.
Dang.
That was a nice fish.
That was about a 3-pound fish. Okay, well that gives hope, Mark. There's fish in this lake, son. That's on my new bait too, my Black Label Tackle prop bait. Just got it in the mail yesterday. Just a little prop bait. The color is called Bold Bluegill.
Was it crankbait?
No, it's a topwater bait. It's a prop bait. It's a beautiful prop bait. It's balsa wood bait. The way it's made is the shape of it. The shape of it is such that it sits in the water straight up and down like this, but when you pull it, it kind of wallers over on its side as you pull it and flashes its color to the fish, I've been looking at them, and like I said, it's a black label balsa wood bait. And I've been looking at them thinking, man, I want one of them, and I hadn't spent the money. And well, this past week I decided to reload with topwater baits since I lost that one good bait. And then I ended up catching that good fish last weekend on that one. So I said, you know what, I'm gonna reload with topwater. And that was one of the ones I purchased. It's a beautiful bait, and obviously fish will hit it. This lake ain't nothing but a big bowl. That's all it is, just a big bowl.
What it look like?
But there's one decent fish living in it.
Each one of them, you're pretty good. He's pretty smart too. He just swam right back at you.
I know it, that was kind of weird.
I said you don't, that's probably been shot. Don't let any line person get put on that hook, swim toward the boat, then shake your head.
Well, that was the extent of the action that I had. I had one other fish strike at my bait, strike at a crawfish that I threw over into the lilies, and that was it. Mark hooked a fish that probably would have went about 6 pounds. He hooked it on a frog, but he didn't have anything but 15-pound test line on his reel, so the fish ran up into the lilies, and it was in the lilies when it struck, and he tried to fight the fish out of the lilies, and it wound up getting off on him because he just didn't have the pound weight that he needed on his line to be able to horse that fish out of them lilies. So he was trying to fight it and get it out of there, and it got off on him in the process. I wasn't able to get that on camera. I was all the way across the opposite side of the lake when that happened with him. That was about the extent of it. The lake is just full of lilies. Like we said, it ain't nothing but a bowl. The whole lake, it drops off the edges down to about 6 foot deep, and that's all we found. No drop-offs or anything like that in it. We decided it would probably be a good lake to fish in the wintertime or in the spring before the lilies grow in. But once the lilies start growing in, these lilies are not attached to the bottom. These are kind of floating lilies. They kind of seem to be growing up in the edges and just kind of floating around the lake. There were a couple spots where there were pods of them floating around. So it would be a good lake to fish in the winter and the early spring before the lilies grow in, and we're going to head back there then. But right now, the lake is just overtaken with those lilies. We were told the lake was redone 7 years ago, and the fish there seem to be fish in it, and we were told that the fish are growing. So it'd be a nice place to go and try again, but I think the summer and the fall, with all the lilies, it's just tough to fish this lake, and there's no structure in it. The bottom's really clean, no structure at all in the lake other than the lilies. So I think it's going to be a wintertime fishing lake that we'll have to go back to. It's kayak or small boat only. There's no boat launch other than a little dirt strip that you can push a boat off into. But we'll be back. We'll try it again. And so I know it's a short video this time, but that's all the action we had, folks. But we'll get at them again, and until next time, as always, this is Hyckory Styck, and y'all have a good one.